What is up, everybody? This is TEKNOBLAST with the Slayer and the Realist here on Techno's Gaming. I think this is gonna be a fun one, Realist. We're not gonna be so angry today. I hope not. I hope not.
Who's angry?
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan. Yeah, he's his stuff today is it's more hilarious than anything else, man. But we'll get to that.
More pathetic than anything else.
It is pathetic. It's pretty funny. It's too funny. It's comedy, dude, with that guy now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like, is that what a president's supposed to do, or whatever his role is? Head of Sony America? I don't know. It's crazy. But got a few things here. I'm gonna read it off here. We're gonna talk about Game Pass again. The new expansion cards, because I know Realist had some feelings on that, making fun of some people. The new UI, supposedly. People are freaking out over Quantum Break. And then something for you, Sick, that new competitor for the Steam Deck, man. By Asus.
Yes, sir.
Asus?
Get it. Yeah,
I've never heard that one.
I was gonna let him make it.
Asus, whichever, all the same.
It's Asus, Asus. I've heard it both ways.
Asus,
like Ubisoft or Ubisoft.
Pretty much.
But in any case, vowel, consonant, vowel, right? Vowel, consonant, vowel makes the first vowel long.
There you go.
Or the second one.
Well,
here I thought I was a grammar Nazi.
Brought to you by Sesame Street.
That's right. Is Elmo here?
I can't do an Elmo voice. I almost tried.
No. That's more of a Big Bird thing, man. That's
Big Bird.
That's not preschool. That's kindergarten.
Well, if Beaker shows up, then I'm good. I like Beaker.
So set it off, man. We're going first with it, Tech. Set it off.
Well, it's been a week since I talked to you guys. What have you guys been up to? You know how we like to just goof around for the first 15 minutes?
Oh, yep. Go ahead, Sick.
I ain't been doing much of anything, actually.
God, what a lazy bum, man.
Exactly. That's what I've been doing. I've been working. I've been coming home. That's it. All week.
No gaming?
No gaming?
Not really, actually. What did I play? A little bit of Vampire Survivors, like once. Oh, bro, how did I forget? On Monday, thanks to the Realist, I got a gift of Tales of the Rise. It's an RPG. I'm playing on the Steam Deck. Locked 60. I even touched the settings. It looks great. Performs great. Like it dips a lot under 60 from time to time, but otherwise, runs great. Looks great. I want to buy that DLC where it has like a lot of the background music from past games in the series. I'm a big fan of the series. So I plan to buy that DLC. That's a cool RPG. I think won best RPG at the Game Awards that year it came out in 2021. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. But only on Monday. I probably won't get to play it this weekend. I'll be real busy this weekend. But maybe next Monday I'll get back to it and give it a couple more hours.
Are you celebrating Easter this weekend?
Yeah, got family coming, got my girl coming and stuff. Got food, all of that.
Yeah, that's how it is here too. It's going to be an action-packed Sunday because of Easter.
Yep. Well, no, because it really is for me. It really is for me though. It's going to be action-packed. No, it was my grandmother's birthday, so they wanted to do something in celebration of her life. That's pretty much what's going to happen after church on my Easter Sunday.
A lot of food.
Man, I wouldn't eat my family's food. Straight up, I wouldn't, because I've heard that some of them step their game up, but man, they got a few levels to go before I want to eat it. Like, yeah, bro, the macaroni.
Man, it must be really bad to admit something like that. Wow.
So it's not good food.
It's edible. I mean, they look, man. This is Texas. I grew up. I was raised by a Cajun woman, a real Cajun woman. So when you try to feed me dirty rice out of a box, it's not gonna fly.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So and you're from Houston too, so So like they bring
bro,
huh?
I didn't even know that existed. Like the mushroom.
What?
Bro, that's an underground thing to find in certain shops in New York City if you want to make dirty rice, right? You know, the
Mushroom.
Oh, see what I'm saying? Like, I'm on a whole different level, I guess. I'm a whole
Nah,
different
y'all on some bootleg dirty rice. Y'all just doing something to make the rice dirty. Because no, seriously, because real dirty rice is spices and liver and rice. Like, but a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like liver," but they don't know, until you eat it. Like real dirty rice, it's liver, spices, and that's what makes the rice dirty because of dark liver. The liver gives off the color. But like, I've when you bring me like ground beef, Zatarans in a box dirty rice, I don't want that. And then and then I don't care, bro. And then your mac and cheese is the powder form. Like at least go get some. Yeah, at least go get the mac and cheese with the creamy cheese, Velveeta or something. Hell, even Kraft makes a cream sauce cheese now. So like,
the powder stuff is nasty.
Yeah, baked chicken, overcooked baked chicken. What else did they have? Now I'm gonna tell you where they won at is when they bought food. Like if they bought the food, it was good. But if they made it, I love them and I appreciate it, and I'm gonna eat it. But I don't want to take any home on the way out. You know what I'm saying? I think I did enough just eating the first helping.
You know what's I'm not even gonna lie. When I just want a quick lunch, the one place I go is Walmart because they got, I mean, at least for me, they got pretty decent mac and cheese and tenders. And get some of that gravy that they got. Say put some in the empty slot, man, they'll fill it up. Oh, it's so good.
Yep. That's right. They put drugs in it. So like, is that?
It's like Chris Rock says, they put the crack in it.
Man, they do because I'm gonna tell you who got some good tenders. My wife, we had what's the name of that? The Green Wing place, Wingstop.
Yeah,
Wingstop is green. I just thought about that. All right. Anyway, so their chicken tenders are the best. Theirs are the best, but like
I never tried their tenders. I have to try it then.
Right, because you think you should all get man. Their wings taste like they took them right out of the freezer and fried them. It tastes like water is in them or something. But anyway, they ate it and they said it was good. I said, good for you, but I'm sticking with the tenders from now on. But man, when it comes to gaming, I'm always playing Super Mega Baseball. I'm over that.
Are you? You're over it now? You're done?
Yeah, because this is my 6th season.
Oh, wow.
I didn't simulate any games in my franchise, and I played 2 seasons before I figured out that they had a franchise. Yeah. So I'm gonna play ease until I beat it. I have to take a break from that because like they made the game kind of, you start getting to the end, they make it very difficult, and it's like, come on, man, like it. And then I read like people's comments on the game, and they say that well, not just the grind, but like it's got like balancing issues, like there's some things that you can't get out of, you know what I mean? But the thing is the things that you can get out of, you can't get hit. So don't get hit by the things. But there's some times on certain moves, like with
What's it called?
YS. We'll just say YS. And there are 9 of them, right? But none of them on Xbox. Oh, except for Ease Origins, which if I had known that, I was on Xbox.
The PS2 and PS3, they never really came out.
On everything but Xbox. I mean, the series is old as us, Tech. They've been making games since like Famicom. You know what I'm saying? The games are old.
Yeah, it's an old series. Yeah.
Yeah, but they just made a new one, which was 9. And then I've been
even the one that everybody knows on the TurboGrafx. When they packed in 1 and 2 on the CD, that was a remake. I think that's not even the original.
I don't doubt it because I was doing some research because I was looking for games that people were playing. Basically, when you're on a Steam Deck, you have games that say that they don't work at all. And so that's one of them that's unsupported, but it works just fine.
Does it detect that you're on a Steam Deck and it tells you you can't install it? Or is it afterwards you install it and it doesn't work?
You can install any game you want to. If it doesn't work, you just won't be able to play it.
Oh.
Like what it is there's a list on the website that says, and then when you go to the page for the game, it'll say support it or not, or if there's issues, whatever. Sometimes it says it doesn't work and it works, and sometimes it says it works at the highest level and it doesn't work. So
yeah, because like I don't go through the things because if it doesn't work on a Steam Deck and I want the game, I'll just play it on my computer. But the thing is like once you get it, once you buy the game, it goes into your list and it'll say unsupported, playable, or verified. And so sometimes playable titles don't work because you can't input it's like EA games. I want to play Madden on the Steam Deck. I can't because the keyboard won't work.
Oh.
Rana Ferg just said Proton DB is your best friend for the deck game. Yes, this is true because the users themselves are actually, putting in the information. I'm also on there. I posted a couple. I should do more. But yeah, it's a lot more reliable. Like he's saying, it's a lot more reliable than the deck verify system because the deck verify system just isn't consistent at all.
Oh, you're still talking about the list, but I changed the Proton versions to get you have to be on version 4 for ease to work on Proton. So I got it to work, and then you can get a community controller. That's another thing. Tech, they have you can download different controllers. Like it might say unsupported, but then somebody from the community uploaded a controller scheme for these games. Because again, I don't know if y'all know the game, but it's one of the greatest on everybody's list RPGs of all time. It's called Fairy, F-A-E-R-Y. It's from the OG Xbox.
Yeah.
But it's unsupported. It's unsupported on the Steam Deck, but if you download the Xbox controller, then you can play it. But I've been playing that, Wolong, a little bit of Undisputed. I'm over that game. It's honestly, we all wanted I don't know about all, but I know some of us wanted a boxing game. We wanted boxing to come back to consoles. And then this one is only on PC.
What was the best one? What was the good one? The Fight Night, right?
Fight Night, yeah.
Fight Night was
Fight
awesome.
Night, Undisputed is all the same. Hell, I even Ready to Rumble. But going back to the Nintendo, Ring King was the first one, then Mike Tyson's Punch Out. But Undisputed's got
Ring King.
Yep. Undisputed has so much work to do. And the team is so small.
Wait. Sorry, man. Quick tangent about Ring King. Remember the corner guy? Tell me it didn't look like you were getting a little bit you know what I'm saying, in the corner. That's what it looked like. Right?
Yeah.
Yo, it's crazy.
We were kids saying that. Tech, if you watch it
looks dead like it. No, it looks dead like it. It does.
Yeah. Tech, you ever play Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember when you press select, Doc will beat you on the shoulder.
Yeah, he'll go like this,
and it'll go faster.
Yeah.
All right. So in Ring King, he would be he's supposed to be pushing your stomach to help you breathe, but it looks like he's doing something to pleasure you.
Oh,
yeah, it really does.
Yeah, he's supposed to be helping you breathe, calming you down between rounds. But little perverted kids came up with that.
And this is not a stretch of imagination or nothing.
Oh, no, that's nothing.
It doesn't take a lot of imagination to see that in it. For real.
People took a screenshot of the new Mario movie, and I think it was Bowser's fingers pointing at or about to point on to Luigi's face, but the way they zoomed into that scene, it looks like a pecker.
The nose. Oh, the fingers.
The finger does, yeah. The finger looks like a pecker. Like you have to see it, and it will never.
You got to show us in the.
Oh man, this reminds me of the rumors about a bunch of Disney movies where they would have in the clouds or whatever in some scene it'll say some words like sex or whatever.
One more thing, Sick. On Xbox, I 100%ed Vampire Survivors this week. So
nice.
I think I'm done. Now. I think I'm done with that until they release the new DLC. And I saw it as $2, so I'll get that. But yeah, I 100%ed it because I didn't know that they had.
That sounds like too much money. $2.
Yeah, I mean, I wish they would put it in Game Pass.
Yeah, they should
because we don't like buying games.
No, not at all.
Well,
but yeah, I didn't realize.
Punt is like pecker. That sounds like a very Texan word.
Yes, well, it does, Punty.
I gotta be.
But
clean
Punty, he's starting off light. He's starting off light.
He's starting off light. He's still talking about eating his own meat.
Ew. But yeah, I think that's it though for the games. Go ahead.
Oh, but congratulations, Realist, on getting that the full achievements and whatnot, man.
Well,
Who's the master? Who's the master?
They said I
It ain't me. It's
I am
you.
for about 2 weeks.
Ah,
I had to figure out that they gave you clues. Like they give you clues when you go to the unlock section. I figured that out last week. I told you I don't read. I don't read any like tips, and I don't watch videos. So everything I figured out.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do it. I gave up on those achievements years ago, like back in the 360 days, just because I can't keep up with these things.
But you have so many.
actually, no, I'm not an achievement whore at all. There's certain games, right? Like you love the game so much, you're going to do everything in the game, right? And achievements might be a part of that. But generally, I play a game and I beat it if I like it enough to play it on a harder mode, maybe. Or if there's a certain achievement along the way that I know that's there, if I do this one little thing, like in Half-Life 2, where you get to put the ball in the hoop for 2 points, right? Because you did basketball, so to give you 2 points, right? Like, I'll try for that. Like, if I missed a shot the first time, I keep doing it until I get it right, you know? Like, I won't miss that achievement. You know, minor things like that. But I don't really sit there and whore for an achievement unless it's a game I really like. Like, and with Vampire Survivors, all the achievements are lined up in certain things you do in the game. As you're progressing, there's things that are prerequisite to other things, and all those things have achievements associated with them. So,
but also
you get all
but
of
also
basically you crush the game.
But there's an in-game reward for getting achievements. That's the difference with Vampire Survivors. Like when you get an achievement, you unlock something. That's why I went for those achievements, because
okay,
I
so
wanted
spoil
to
for me. So what's this thing you get at the end?
There's nothing you get at the end. Like there is no end. Like you just keep playing.
Okay, that's what I was saying, because you were saying something.
There's,
all I ever see is the clapping.
Because
that's
what I was trying to tell you. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, did I beat the game? But yeah, so we all, because to get all the achievements, you have to beat all the levels. You have to find that little tree. You have to find the bosses, and when you beat the bosses, you get a new character. Like you have to do, once you do all those things. I mean, it's not really a game. Like obviously, it's not set up like other games.
Like when I got the Red Death. Yeah, okay, I follow you.
Right,
now.
It's a game that you just keep playing. I mean, you can go fight the tree again and get 50,000 coins, but there's nothing else to do.
I don't care for achievements so much that I turn off the notifications on my box. Like I don't even care about showing up on the screen. Just don't even show up.
Wow. I'm sorry. Wow. The whole sound, the whole the little logo, it's fulfilling to me.
It's fulfilling.
Yep, especially when the diamond spins and it gives you that.
The diamond ones, especially when I was trying
the sound and the diamond spins.
And didn't know the diamond was going to be
I agree.
That one is
it's a nice sound. It's a great sound to get, but now it's like, I don't need it.
But yeah, I'm starting to like Wolong the more I play it. Like normally I don't like those types of games because they're more irritating than fun, but I like it. It's my new Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors was the game that I played when I was just sitting around acting like I was watching a movie with the kids, or you know what I'm saying? Just
originally it was my Steam Deck game, but then it came to Game Pass, and now I'm so into it. I'm trying to do both at the same time.
Yeah, I might do it, but I'm gonna do it later down the line because I kind of got bored with it now. Like I've done everything.
Huh.
Even beating stuff with all the curses, like all 5 curses and a power up. So I'm done for a while.
No, I ain't even played it yet. I think I have it in my want list.
What you waiting on, boy? It's not even big. It's a simple game.
Because I'm still playing that Anon mutation game that I'm almost finished with on PlayStation. I'm still playing. What the heck did I start on Xbox? I even forgot. There's 2 games Dying Light. I'm still playing.
The thing about Vampire Survivors is that each run is usually half hour, right? There's 99% of the time, right? Half hour. So you could play a run. If you're on a shitter or whatever, if you're, I don't know, you drive to wherever you go. So, you know, anytime you have like a set amount of downtime where you're not doing nothing, that's a good game for that.
Well, you have to go endless to do certain things, like hit level 80 and stuff like that. Just 30
Yeah,
minutes.
that's half hour. Yeah, and that's the half hour. I think.
30 minutes might not be enough. But yeah, man. Have y'all ever played the game Beyond the Steel Sky?
Never heard of
No,
it.
I know of the name though. That's about it.
Okay. I've been playing Detroit too. I think I'm gonna go on a movie game run. Like Detroit, I like Detroit. I got that one. What's the other PlayStation game that's on PC?
Oh, Detroit Human? Detroit
whatever? Become
Detroit
Houston.
Become
I mean,
Human.
Human. Yeah.
Yeah. I played. That's pretty good.
We don't want. Yeah, Detroit needs to become Houston, not the other way around. And then what's the other game? Two Souls, Beyond Two Souls, or something like that.
Oh, Beyond. Beyond Two something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Beyond Two Souls. Yeah.
Beyond Two Souls. And I'm replaying the Walking Dead Telltale series because my daughter, we were playing it together because it has the multiplayer, and we were playing it together. But
That's a good one.
when I found it for $11 for the entire collection for her because she's got a PC. I had it on Xbox and Game Pass. So when watching her play that, I just remembered like how much I love that game, man.
Dude, it's good.
Like,
it's awesome.
Like that's the best zombie story in video games, if not period.
Clementine story.
Oh man, Clem, bro. I felt sad for Clem, and I'm like, man, this doesn't even look real. And I feel like, man, this girl didn't have a leg, I think, at the end.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And then like the Frontier was probably my least favorite, and then Michonne. But the whole lead Clementine line, oh, that was outstanding.
No, that was good. Yeah, it was good. Now my son's asking me. He's asking me about The Last of Us since he saw the show. He wants me to get that later, and then he asked me about Ragnarok. He's like, "Have you played Ragnarok?" I say, "Nope," because it's still overpriced. He's like, "Oh,
God of War."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we got Ragnarok, but I'm not buying The Last of Us when I have the remaster for free.
Yeah.
I like the story. I mean, I like zombie stuff, so like I enjoyed that story. I didn't like The Last of Us 2 though.
No, number 2 sucked.
Like that story the gameplay was a little better, as good as a Sony game could be, but I didn't like I didn't like the story at all because I mean it's Abby. Like they tried to make you like Abby, and I applaud them for letting them hang and challenge you to love another character the way you love Joel. But they messed up with that, and I'm wondering what they're gonna do on the TV show because the TV show so far has pretty much been 1-for-1 with the video game.
Yeah. So I'm playing Dying Light, Ano, the mutation one. I started In Sound Mind. It's like a psychological shooter game. And then Scars Above I started also on Xbox.
That's on Xbox?
Yeah.
Man, I bought it because it was low on Steam about 2 weeks ago. I was like, that
it was on
good.
sale at GameStop, so I traded in the game, and then I had my $5 bonus at GameStop and went ahead and bought Scars Above since it was on sale.
Oh, speaking of picking up games, I picked up that one game we were talking about the last time. It was on the Epic Store for free. Toons or whatever.
What did you say?
He said Toons.
Toons or Toons or whatever. It was some kind of weird. It's like TNC.
Like it's Lil Wayne game, Lil Toonchi.
Something, I don't know. It had these crazy fluorescent graphics. It's on the Epic Store.
Yeah, I got Toonchi too.
Toonchi.
Yeah, I got Crime Boss too, but I didn't play it though. I got it because Tech was hyping it up, man. I gotta stop buying games because it's like
no, they were free on the Epic Store.
Well, Crime Boss is $39.
Oh, Crime Boss. Crime Boss has all those actors in it. Like
Crime Boss is free on the Epic Store today.
No.
Crime Boss?
Crime Bosses?
It just came out.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Let me check. I must be bugging.
Yeah, you're bugging because you're right. You're right about Toonchi, but that game came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Crime Boss just came out.
If it's free, then Epic is my new favorite launcher because Steam gives me nothing.
You hear that, Steam? You give nothing. So, but yeah, those are my 3 games right now that I've been playing. But I'm almost finished with Anon Mutation. So once that's finished, I'll pick up on another game.
I was completely wrong, by the way. No, it wasn't that.
So, but yep. So Well, that's cool, man. Looks like you guys been busy with a bunch of stuff. But you know who's been busy? Sony boys and like the fanatic Xbox kids going crazy thinking that Quantum Break is gone. And this is no different when they delisted and took off Forza Motorsport 5 because of license issues. Now, Forza, because of the music they have on it, you know, they weren't going to renew it because they got the other Forzas ahead of it. That there's no point. And I don't know what the license issue is for Quantum Break. Maybe the character.
I could have sworn I read they said they're going to work it out. It's just going to be down for a while and it's coming back.
Yeah. So Aaron said,
I don't even know what it is.
So they could be Lance Reddick. Now that his family controls his likeness.
Maybe it could be, because I mean it's just the timing is right there. You know, he passes away. What, a week later or 2 weeks later?
Oh, yeah. It could be.
License issue.
And look at John Wick, though. That didn't happen with that. Why does it got to happen with this? But maybe.
But John Wick doesn't have a game that people care about. So it's like, because this is what I was telling you, like why we can't have a good boxing game is because the most boxers didn't make a lot of money, and now their families control their estate and likenesses, and that's why they won't. That's why they can't get all the boxers that they want into these games. And same thing with this. I'm just gonna guess. I knew that it was a licensing issue. Now, what the issue is, I'm gonna assume that it's Lance Reddick because Xbox and Remedy are good.
Yeah, there's nothing else that kind of pops out. But yeah, that kind of goes in line. You know, he passes away. Then a couple weeks later, we have this thing about Game Pass. I mean, it's leaving Game Pass because of license issues. And I'm trying to remember the game. I'm like, what license issues could it be? But I didn't even think about that guy. I forgot that he was in it.
Right, but the extra thing on top of that is that they said ahead of time is just something that they're gonna work out. It'll be down for a little while, and they already confirmed that it's coming back. So it's like,
but you know how people are. You know how people are. You know,
and these people you speak of, what's their preferred platform?
PlayStation and PC.
Yeah, it ain't PC. It's PlayStation, guys. Oh, yeah. I thought first party never left. Yeah, but,
no. They claim to be PC too. Don't forget, they all have these $10,000 rigs that we can't afford, right? Because they pay for quality.
Yeah. Whatever.
So I was wrong about Forza. Yes, it was about the cars, the licensing of the cars, not the music. That's what it was.
Right.
So I guess I got my Forzas mixed up because I don't know. Anyways, it was the cars. And that's why it's like, what's the point of renewing those licenses if they got Forza 6, 7, and 8 coming out? There's no point. So that's why it came off of Game Pass, and that's why you can't buy it anymore. But
it doesn't stop you from playing what you own already either.
No. I bought that one. I bought Forza 5, and I still got it. I can still play it.
But this is what I don't understand about these people that are crying. Like, if you wanted to play that game, you can play that game. What is the name of Quantum Break? Is $5, right? It's $7.99 right now.
$5. You know how amazing that game is? It is.
It's a good game.
One of the top.
If you like Control, if you like Control, you like Quantum Break. But this is the thing.
But I didn't like Control that much, though.
No, I didn't either. But it's from the same people, the same kind of.
It is.
It's parallels.
It's basically the spiritual successor, like their next game in that vein, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. But if you wanted to, and let's just say Game Pass wasn't bringing it back. It's $7.99. If you really want to play that game, go play it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Quantum Break is. I mean, that one and Rise. On that generation. I mean, you got your gear.
Look at the transitions. You're going to go straight into the next subject, or you don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It seems Rise too.
So, I mean, those are my games for the generation of Xbox One. Is this one and Rise. Now, I enjoy my Gears of War. I enjoy my Halos. I enjoy my Forzas. But these were unique games at the time, you know? And they still are. And they're still great looking games even today. And I don't know, man. It's like
if this is what we thought we were gonna get from the Crossfire.
Yep. Yeah. So what do you guys say about
to it? Go ahead.
About Rise? Is there something about Rise I didn't hear about?
Apparently, Crytek teased a sequel. I've been reading.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Really?
that's what I've been hearing.
Yes, way.
I'll believe it when they actually say
Last I
something.
heard a couple months ago, like maybe 2 months ago, I heard that they started updating the Crytek engine again with more modern stuff like ray tracing and all that other stuff. Like most recently, I heard.
Well, what the hell
I know
have they been doing the last few years? And if they haven't,
I don't
updated
know.
by now.
But they finally have been. Because the last time we saw it was when they re-released all the Crysis games together in a pack, which I've been asking for years. You know, they finally did that. They added the DLSS and all that other stuff, and fixed. Because remember when it first came out, it was actually a pretty bad port, and they went back and fixed it and added everything that was missing. Right?
Yeah.
So and then it became a new benchmark actually for the series. But now they're saying about all these more modern techniques. Like it had ray tracing before, even on the original Xbox One when they released it there, but that was software ray tracing or whatever. But now it's actual ray tracing and all this other, like all the whiz bang features that they talk about nowadays.
All the
like
bells and whistles.
Yeah, all the bells and whistles that they be talking about in the engines nowadays. Like
whiz bang.
Like Crytek, Crytek is finally about to have that. And so Crytek has been a developer that everybody's been asking. Like that's been on many lists. Like, or it might be like a dark horse in many people's minds. When everybody discusses it on a podcast, and then we did that one person bring up Crytek, and then everybody will go, Crytek's been on a little bit of a roll lately in terms of releases. Hunt Down, I think it was Hunt Showdown.
No, Hunt Showdown. I was about to say what games? Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, Hunt Showdown was.
I don't think they've been on the road, man.
I just think
it's not a bad game, but
like they don't. Well, that's you, but I'm not just that, but like they've been putting together a couple of things in a row that have done well and put some money in their pockets because they were all on the edge of death for years there. It seemed right, so they're just barely out of that now and been putting in a little bit of work there and getting some other work to do more things. So, but everybody, that's a developer I still don't understand why. Nice beer. After all the stuff that's been happening with them, why they haven't been picked up by anybody, particularly Microsoft.
Yeah. So
good thing I got my Xbox refrigerator under my desk to get this beverage.
Full of burr. Hey, Sick, did you play Hunt Showdown?
I played a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's not a bad game.
I got that gamer ADD.
It's not a bad game. Is what I was saying. Is this that for a game like that, it needs a lot of people, and it got dead fast. It's like you have to go hunt. You're going against other players who are hunting you for a bounty, but it has a good premise. I think that Crytek's games, because back in the day they were the benchmark for your PC. Can you run it? Even though like Crysis, I never really loved Crysis, but I love looking at it. It was, and you brought up software ray tracing. That's what I was going to bring up. Man, isn't that like something that other developers should be, since they want to do ray tracing so bad, and we had ray tracing on the Xbox One and PS4. Why can't they put that work in? Well, to me,
that software ray tracing is like some pre-baked stuff, and it's not the same. See, ray tracing has gotten this misnomer, and there's a lot of misunderstanding. It's like, for example, the Crytek thing, because Ono was Alex is already beefing with PMS Jordan over this. So yeah, have your beer ready, right, and your drinks and popcorn ready, because they're gonna go at it.
Ted's got a commercial face and a commercial
smile. Y'all got that American smile down. You really do, bro. But so like, what was I saying about freaking
You were saying about the two YouTuber Twitter people,
right? So ray tracing. So like Crytek, not Crytek, Cyberpunk is about to add full path tracing. So that's like full real deal ray tracing. The only games up until now that have really had that are ports of like Doom, the old Doom, and Quake and stuff like that, like the original Quake 1, not even 2, right? Like to do full path tracing, and even at the greatest cards at the time, even a 4090 or whatever, might give you like 45 frame. No, I think actually now it's been a couple of years. That'll get 60, right? At like 4K. But to do anything more than that, you got to use these more hybrid approaches they've been doing and stuff. And particularly for these consoles that are, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to knock AMD, me and Realist have been having conversations about AMD and behind the scenes, right? They're just not the leader in the ray tracing. They're not the one who introduced it in the common, a gamer's mindset right now. That was Nvidia. So of course they're already behind in that technology because they're not the ones who introduced it into the populace, right? So now with these consoles being powered by AMD technology, they're already behind, to another level, because it's not even PC level, it's console level, right? Already at this point, 2 years in. At launch, it wasn't. It was up to snuff, I guess, at least for AMD, right? But ray tracing is this complicated thing on hardware that's not too adept at it, right? So they do all these half-assed approaches to adding it, just so they can have the check mark there to say that, that they got this feature, and is giving ray tracing as a whole a bad name, and there's very few good implementations, right? There's the Metro games, like Metro Exodus. Oh my God, the ray tracing in that, like when the sunlight, when you're like in a dark area, but there's a hole somewhere and the light is casting through it, you see the difference there, right? Right? And then it's funny to bring it up, but Gran Turismo is known for having great HDR and now good ray tracing in terms of the way it looks when you look at it, but that's not even in gameplay. They ain't banning RetroArch. No, they didn't. They wouldn't do that. They're not that dumb. But basically ray tracing is this big buzzword, and people are imagining way more than they're able to show you, particularly on the console hardware, let alone the PC. So,
but we have the most powerful console on the planet.
Right, but if the most powerful PCs can only do the original Quake with full path tracing it, and now you add that, to Cyberpunk, right? Full 4K, and it's running at like 19 frames a second on a 4080, literally, I think, like 19 or 18, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then it got that frame generation thing where they boost it up, right? But that's something that hardware could do, but it shows you how much of a hit it is, right? So there's all this debate, and the consensus is, F ray tracing, they don't see the difference. It knocks down everything. It's just not done correctly for anybody to even want to try to appreciate it. It's kind of like VR, but worse in that regard. They're really just not doing a good job and doing a disservice to the whole concept at all. So I feel like they really shouldn't even do.
But Sik, you're talking about enthusiasts, right? We always want to see what the latest and greatest can do. Ray tracing is basically, you have your shadows, you have your light, and your light has a path just like in real life. I think that's a bit much, because I don't play games to unless the light is leading me to the exit of a place I'm stuck in. You know what I mean? Like, now that would be like
some cool mirrors in an area where you could see people around. Take advantage of what it does to show it off. This is what I'm saying, right? And so you might think I'm just talking about on a technical level, where there's definitely that, but they're not using it to an advantage. You remember when we were like in the 8 and 16-bit era, even to go from 8 to 16 bits, we may not have, a lot of people may not have understood what it meant to be 16-bit, what that actually means. But what they did know was now the hardware could do more stuff to make it look more real, be more interactive, make a better game.
It's a bigger number. That means it could do more stuff.
It could do more stuff. You may not know what the stuff was, but now we're at a point now, all these years and generations later, where now we're getting to the nitpick, the nitty gritty of like the dream stuff. Ray tracing is like the dream, right? That's existed longer than I've been alive, but we're still not there yet. And we're not going to be there for a while, but it takes, these early points now, but like, don't advertise it so heavily and then do all this rah when you're not at that level. Be more subtle, and at the same time, implement it in gameplay. Make people aware what the hell it is if you're going to do it, or don't do it at all.
Yeah,
we got 100.
What up? 100 up in here. What up, 100?
Hell yeah, man. Have you gone to his Saturday nights? His Saturday nights shows?
Oh,
it cracks me up, man. It cracks me up.
Not in the past 2 weeks, but
I was there this past Saturday, and it was unfortunate. But anyway, when it comes to ray tracing,
unfortunate situations, man. I just want to say real quick. I was recanting the story about the certain PlayStation troll used to come in to that podcast. He came with his quote-unquote girl, right? He came with his quote-unquote girl, and then, oh my God, hilarity ensued. Oh man, I was just talking about that story Not so long ago.
You talking about that? You talking about the old episode? Chris Hart.
Yeah, this is it's like over
Well,
a year
you
ago.
got Chris Hart. You got Chris Hart, and you got that one called Xbox Has No Games or something like that.
Yeah, they're always in there trolling all the time.
They're always in there. As much as they hate Xbox, they're always
there.
Always at an Xbox show every single time.
Well, that's the thing with PlayStation guys. Like they spend more time on Xbox shows than PlayStation shows.
They do.
I have once I figured out what PlayStation shows were about early when I started watching YouTube, I don't go back to PlayStation shows because they spend more time talking about Xbox. But no, look, back to ray tracing, then y'all can move on. It's too much of a hit, sick. And if they bring it to console, then FSR needs to be involved. Otherwise, just leave it alone. You need to be running at 1080 and up-res it. Stop trying to do 4K, 60 frames, ray tracing. High-end PC can't even do that. So just leave it alone. And like you said before,
FSR, even on PC, it's always paired with DLSS. Always.
Yeah, but just like you said before, that find some utility for it, other than just being pretty, because it's not doing anything for your gameplay. It's ruining gameplay. So just leave it alone.
Not only that, I'm not gonna knock when they show the A and B, like the non-ray tracing do look better until you're educated about what you're looking for, and then you'll see the subtleties. But if you have to be educated on it, then nah. This is why I say that you need to implement it into gameplay for people to become aware and learn about it. More.
Why do you even need to be educated if it's gonna drop your stuff back to 30?
Right.
I thought we moved into next gen for 60 and 120.
Well, apparently, this is what people want, right? But this is what I'm saying. There's no reason to appreciate, and all they're seeing is less frames for something that arguably, like I just said, when they show the A and B comparisons in trailers and whatnot, I'd be liking the non-ray tracing. Like I'll put my hand over where it be just to do a blind test to myself and just be honest with myself. Which one do I prefer? And then I move my hand. Oh, snap, it's the one without the ray tracing. Like 90% of the time. I'm not even going to lie. Like,
well, you know what?
It is what it is.
I'll tell you this. When they upgraded, this is far after they upgraded Cyberpunk on the series. I had, I think there's 2 modes, right? Performance and ray tracing, or maybe there was 3.
Before it used to be performance and without performance, it was 4K 30, then like a 1440 60. But when they did the update, even without the ray tracing, they had improved performance so much where I think they took out the non-performance, so it was always 60 unless you were doing ray tracing, I think, or maybe it is 3 where you can have it without the ray tracing maxed out, but it's still not good enough for 60, so they lock it to 30 or something.
So I had it for ray tracing for the longest time, and then it's like, let me see the other settings. The other settings that were non-ray tracing looked so much better and performed a lot better. And I kept it that way.
Yeah. But in Cyberpunk, that's one of the games when I see ray tracing in it, I think I prefer for that. But see, that just goes to show that's more of an opinion thing than something that's truly subjective until people know what to look. And I can tell you, I don't know what I'm looking, but I shouldn't even have to. The thing too, I shouldn't even have to. But once I get more learning on it, maybe I'll start appreciating it more. But you need to show, but they need to show us that stuff. And I don't mean by advertising stuff. Don't do that. No, hell no. Do it in the game. Make it something that we see and be like, oh, it actually mattered and it's worth that trade-off. You got to sell it to me.
Yep.
It's only good for photo mode. That's why I'm in support of people like Sony when they did it. People make fun of them, but when you're racing 200 miles per hour, you're not watching to see if the streets were reflecting a certain way.
HDR, on the other hand, you need to do that right, and that Atmos sound, they need to push that the both of those things, and that's something they can do now without knocking performance and nothing like that. Did you say
Atmos?
Yeah, the surround,
but you know that they'll never do that because they have.
Well, they do in some
games, not all of them.
Well, I see what he was
saying.
But
anyway, the best that I've seen it implemented is through the cartoon games. When you try to make these realistic games and then add ray tracing, that's when it goes bad.
Yeah, I'm talking about HDR though. HDR needs to be in everything, and it's great too for the 2D pixel games like River City Girls. I remember playing the first one, I need to get the second one, right? Like when you put on the HDR, then it has that CRT brightness. so it looks like a tube monitor, with the 2D pixel art games. That looks really good. But and that's just for 2D stuff. For modern stuff, when you're in the and you see the sun, clouds, and all that, that's something that doesn't knock performance. It gives you an impact like what they try to advertise ray tracing would be, but actually is with no impact generally, right? Especially on today's hardware, that should just be standard, and it's not. And even when they do it, it's like they flip a switch and they do some auto shit and never really tuned it or whatever until people complain. If the game is, worthy of that attention, and most games aren't.
Well, they say Motorsport 8 or it's rebooted. It's Motorsport, not 8. So they said that we're gonna have ray tracing on track, and I hope that we don't have to suffer. Well, we don't have our gameplay suffer for ray tracing.
Well, there's ways to do it that's more subtle that doesn't, right?
Whatever. I just hope it doesn't impact performance.
Yeah,
and I don't mind if it's only in the gallery. I don't care, because the only time I'm gonna be looking for it.
I'm kind of shocked that there's no 120 mode as far as we know. They're only talking about 60. I think they made official word that it was 60. Kind of shocked.
I think we'll see 120 games like that.
So. And games. If I had to bet money, I would say it's coming.
Yeah, even if it's 1080, we're gonna have a 120 mode.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's see. Next one should be short because I think we talked about it last week. Yay! We got Ghostwire coming up next week, and Minecraft in a couple of weeks.
Welcome home.
Welcome home, baby. I'm gonna try it out. Are we getting extra stuff here with this release, or we're just gonna get the base? I don't know if anybody saw anything, but
for Ghostwire, I know it coincides with the release of a DLC, a big DLC for the game, and in fact, they held back. I think they held back the DLC to time this release at the same time. Whatever. The DLC isn't out yet. I don't think. I think they're timing it for.
No, it's not. It's not out. It comes when it hits Xbox.
Yeah,
the 12.
So that's what they're doing that on purpose. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I think they created like a rogue mode, like a rogue-like mode, and
why does everything have to be rogue?
Because that's what's hot right now. Like we're gonna be getting like 10 rogue-like games. We're gonna be getting 5 extra Souls games every year. Like,
dude, I've been hit
right now.
I've been hit with 3 PlayStation rogue games in a row. First, I got Returnal, which I tried to stick out, and I gave up on this. I can't play this trash, right? Then I picked up Steel Rising. That's a multiplat, but I got it on PlayStation because it was available. And then the story was intriguing, but the Souls Rogue, whatever you want to call it, was just a big turnoff. And now I picked up a Scars Above, but it's not
and that's another one.
That's another one, but it's not as punishing as the other 2 games. It's not as punishing, and I'm not getting frustrated or pissed off about it. So this one I think I can handle because I've been playing pretty good with the game.
Okay, so the difference for you is what I'm thinking you're saying is that the amount of punishment when you die and have to quote unquote reset, it's not as bad for you, so it's tolerable. Like you don't really feel it like that. It's like some MMOs, for example. In a lot of MMOs, at least in Final Fantasy 11, I don't know how it is for many actually, but Final Fantasy 11, when you would die, you would lose some XP, even if it would de-level you, it could do that, right?
Yeah. So,
but generally in that game, you get that XP back so quick it don't even matter. Fantasy Star Online, I think, is the same way, right? Like, yeah, Fantasy Star Online 2 was like that, right? But it's so quick to get that XP lost back from death, it's like irrelevant, right? And so Souls games are the opposite of that, where they go real far, but the ones that are lighter on that,
Soul and roguelike, like Hades, like Ren is talking about, I can't play those. I just can't. It's just too much for me.
Yeah, and because see, the thing is, it's like they figured out that they can make a game longer. They can give you like, it'd be a shallow game, but you'll have to spend a lot of time in it by replaying a lot of the levels,
like they did on Nintendo.
Right, but I quit Hades too, but it was fun while I played it.
Dead Cells, I quit Dead Cells also.
Yeah,
I
that
couldn't
one
play
too. I just have too many games that sit around playing the same thing over and over again.
That's pretty fun. But for Ghostwire, the fact that this is optional, thank God for that. And you know the thing I like about gaming? There's so many games, and even before Game Pass, right? There's so many games, and Game Pass makes it even easier, right? If you don't like a Souls game, you ain't gotta fuck with it, you know? Because there's so many games, and we have so many on our list, and UTech been playing and beating games, you know what I'm saying? And so if you don't like a Souls, hey, there's plenty more to pick from, even if this Ghostwire.
But the ones I've been picking, I actually have to buy.
Oh, that's on you, bro. Hey.
So I'm like, I look at a trailer, I look at some of the gameplay, and I'm like, oh, it looks pretty interesting. Okay. But I didn't catch on that it was like a Soul Rogue type game. And so when I actually play, I'm all happy, like, yeah, all right. I'm like, oh man, what is this crap? You know? And then I try to stick it out. I was like, I'm gonna stick this one out. And then after a while, it's just like, it's too much. I can't do it.
Bro, that's like Elden Ring. Like they said it was 200 hours if you want to finish the game, even 40 hours. After I played the first boss, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. No. I'm done.
And you told me, see, I had that on my want list, Elden Ring, and you kept telling me you're not gonna like it because, you know, the way it is. And I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll take your word for it. I took it off my list. I'm not gonna play it.
But the thing about Elden Ring that differs from most Souls games is it is more of an RPG because they call them RPGs, but they're really not. The thing about Souls games, about Elden Ring is you can go level up and then come back later. You can go strengthen your character and then come back later. It's an open world versus linear, where if you're not strong enough, you gotta have to figure out a way to get past that enemy. But it's not that way in Elden Ring. You can go around, you can go find other things to power up, and then come back later. That's the thing that separates it. But it's still a challenging game.
Yeah, and I think with that game, I think that's what it is. You could grind up some levels and try again. And so the difficulty, I think what they did with that game in particular was they balanced the difficulty as far as crazy as like when you're fighting a boss, for example, and it has this whole wave of move it does, right?
Yeah.
That you got to block or avoid. If it hits you, as mad as you might be, deep down, you know it's on you because you didn't block or whatever. So it has that impotence if you're really that type of gamer to try again, right? And I think Elden Ring hit that niche for a lot of people. And coupled with, you know, if you try and you realize you need some more levels, you can go and grind out that levels or try something different. I think from the very beginning, as soon as you go outside, there's this big monster that you pretty much advise not to mess with unless you know what to do to cheese it out, I guess. Or you go the other direction where you're intended to. You know, they give you a choice like that off rip. And it's subtle. They don't tell it to you. It's kind of like with Vampire Survivors. You just kind of figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
But since it's not
worked out.
But since it's not on the docket, I won't spend too much time on Elden Ring. It's just. I also think that they a lot of people bought that game not knowing what they were getting into, because when you mentioned George R.R. Martin, author of Game of Thrones, now FromSoft fans were like, it's a From game, you know it's gonna be a Souls, right? But a lot of people bought that game, didn't know what they were getting into. Like I knew that even before he told me that he bought it thinking that it was something else, like I guess your common RPG where it's not all about dodging and sliding. It's more about the story.
No. So for me, okay, here I'm one of those people. If when Elden Ring was announced and like, oh, you know, it's going to come out Sunday, I had it on my wish list. My mentality, my thinking was, it's like Skyrim, it's like Fallout, that type of game. And it turns out not to be.
Yep. They were hyping up dragons and all this. And you thought you were getting the Game of Thrones RPG style, style RPG from
lack of evidence or research that people do, but I don't knock that. But the thing I'm just saying is, I think
but some marketing are so good, they're like, okay, right, I want that game.
No matter how much a game is marketed, right? It's not going to sell crazy like Elden Ring did, unless people liked it after all. So for all those people who tried it not knowing and expecting something completely different because of whatever reasons, for it to continue to sell, that means in and of itself it was a good game.
You sound like a
what? It's just the facts, because there's been countless other games where people thought it was something totally different, right? And it was
Yeah,
that.
you sound like them get goods, bro.
Get
But,
goods.
hey,
Get
You
no,
sound
goods.
like those dudes that's telling people to get good, bro.
Get
Because
good.
a
But that
lot
was
of
the
people
last
did not
bet I
know what
had
they were
about it.
getting into.
But they stuck it
Because
out, and more bought. Oh,
that's
Uh-oh.
why I'm so
He's
bought
botting
it
out.
heavy. Bought it heavy. Bought it.
What's that?
Oh
Am I
man,
biting now?
you're
Botting
botting
super
out.
Well,
You're
I
good.
can mute. I can mute. I'm good now.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, look. No, because it's about the IP, and that's why
Hey, I'm the one drunk here,
listen.
man. I'm already buzzing.
Why y'all laughing? Okay, so look, when you have an IP that comes out the gate shooting hitting 16 million, then that's a big deal. But I think that they positioned the George R. R. Martin angle in a way that people thought they were getting a Game of Thrones style or story-based game. It's to the point now where people are like, "Oh, you have to find the story. It's atmospheric storytelling." And I'm like, "All right, I can guarantee that's not what people thought they were getting into."
Right. Everything you're saying is the truth, by the way. I'm not saying like you're saying anything wrong. You're not, but I'm just saying that despite that, it had to have been a good game because they wouldn't have sold this many copies and be talked about for this long by this wide amount of people.
Well, hype is real. Hype is real though.
No, hype is real, but there are many examples of games that the hype and they flop as they deserve to because they shit-tastic experiences. Let's keep that a buck.
Watch this. Look, all this time these Souls games have been existing, and they never broke that kind of number. Watch this new wave coming in. None of them are even going to approach. They're going to be back to normal 1 or 2 million sales because that's a very niche genre of gaming.
I totally agree. I think maybe the one that's supposed to be the Elden Ring successor because they never. Well, actually, they might call it Elden Ring 2. Let's say
what's his name that starts with an M? Mikami? Not Mikami. What's his name? So now Shinji Mikami is Xbox. Miyazaki said he doesn't like sequels, so we'll see, man. With a game this big, you gotta use that IP. I think that they don't use.
No, I'm just saying that whatever game is the spiritual successor, right? Like it could just be the next game they make, right? In that ilk, or even remotely in that ilk, because all those Soul games, particularly from or of that certain ilk, right? Like that one game, I'm basically saying that's gonna agree with you. Basically, is that next immediate game will do all right, right? But then immediately after, the next games will go back to 1 or 2 million tops again. It'll go back to that.
They got to capitalize on the Elden Ring name. The reason, one of the reasons why they don't, just look at Dark Souls. Like they got Dark Souls 3, but I don't think he's responsible for all those games. These games don't do well commercially, so there's no sense in using the IP. But Elden Ring should be around 20 million right now. So the next game that comes out, it's gonna be Elden Ring 2. Watch.
I think so too. That one has the best chance of making any kind of money again. But anything else they do after that will be back to the humdrum, 1 or 2 million, like you're saying. I agree.
So Ren says Loop Hero that's coming on Game Pass is a good game.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. You took the graphic down. I forgot about it. That's a game that I've been hearing about since it released, probably like a year and a half, 2 years.
But I just saw on the text it said it's a road game. I can't play those games.
Yeah, it's a card-based game. But see, so is Vampire Survivors. It's about the way it has to be fun, right? It has to be done in a way that people feel like they can win. That people are so frustrated. You have people that love. You have people that love to say, "Oh, I did this," and that's why the community of Souls games is so small, because it's only this small subset of people that relish in the opportunity to say, "I did it and you couldn't." That's what it's all about. The gameplay loop. Look at Vampire Survivors.
I relish when I say I can't do it. I relish.
Well, if it's no fun, because Wolong is challenging, but I like it. It's not. It punishes you, but it also you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So is what's the name of that game? Which they say is harder than Elden Ring. One game in the year, barely sold 5 million units. Sekiro, right? I like that game as well.
That did well. Hey, 5 million is a good amount. Let's not front. That's pretty good.
It's not bad, but it's a game of the year award winner. You would think that it had better reception because it's normally a popularity contest. Well,
considering that they normally does 1 to do 5, like and I keep it within its realm of realism. Like that, what more could you have really expected? You really
Well, also
expected it to go up like a AAA just because it won an award? That indie could blow people's minds one year. Like, look at Hades. All those people kept talking about that game. Like, Hades is a cool, dope game. Frankly,
hell, look at Vampire Survivors. It won awards.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not gonna hold it to that same level as a Cyberpunk try to, right?
I'm just saying that it's a Souls game, and that was one of the better selling games at 5 million, and it won awards.
That's pretty good.
I just think that that's a niche audience, but that game also had the Activision machine behind it,
and that's the best I think it could have ever done, because it had everything it needed to succeed, and that's all it could do, right? Because and to me, that's about as much as I could have expected. Is 5 million. I'm like, to have expectations super high is not realistic when you look at the elements that play, and they're not putting a lot of money into that. Activision might have marketed a lot of money with that one. Other than that, this is From Software. They don't sell a lot of copies in any other games like that, right? Generally,
I hope they sell a lot of Armored Core.
Yeah, me too. Right, Armored Core is another one. They had like 17 of those games. They each sold like maybe $1.5 million, $2 million on a good one.
I think I did the math. The average is like 600,000.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, what I'm saying, this is a role they've been playing forever, right? Forever. The first RPG on the PlayStation was Jesus Christ, it's the predecessor to the Kingsfield is the predecessor of all these Souls games. That's all old NES hard. It was like what you said earlier about when they make a game hard just for you to replay it over. That's Nintendo. That's old school 8-bit Nintendo stuff. Watch the Angry Video Game Nerd. He rants about that all the time, because that really is something that happens in games and still does.
Hey, Goonies 2 on the NES, man. That took
over and over.
But okay, real quick, and then I'll be done with this this time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's the arcade mentality, right?
Yes.
They made games so hard that you kept putting quarters in the machine. That's why if you play Mario in the store, it was way different than Mario on Nintendo. Right. And so I'm not Mega Man was super hard. Ninja Gaiden as well, but that was an arcade game too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Next topic is the Xbox getting a new UI, I guess, and they have a new friends and community update.
Ooh.
I'm like, do we really need that? I thought we had that already in the guide. I don't know.
I don't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't
understand this. I don't understand this. That's all. I don't get it.
Friends and community section to the new Xbox UI. The channel will live on the home screen and provide a quick glance at achievements, game clips, and screenshots that friends or clubs are sharing. Do you guys use the clubs?
Not really. If it's a game I like, I'll have it on my dashboard. You know how they have that whole section you could put the pins, right? And they'll have all those sections of people where they post clips and pictures and all that. For games I give a crap about like that.
I did clubs when it first came out, and then I just kind of gave up on it because everybody else gave up on it.
Right, but it's still there in the menu.
It's still there.
So I don't see what this is.
It's kind of like it was. I was in a club with old boy who used to be an Xbox guy. Used to be on Twitter. What's his name? Sensei. And
yeah.
that was the only club I was in, and then somebody invited. I'm in like 5 clubs, but nobody's active.
Nobody's active. Yeah.
This is the thing when Xbox starts to think beyond gaming, they have issues. The LFG is great, right? You need it.
The LFG is great.
We needed that for Destiny, especially, right?
I use it all the time for Dying Light right now.
Right. That's good. But this whole community thing, like, we meet our friends, we talk to our friends in parties. We don't need to have I understand that they want to create a social media type of platform within the platform.
Yeah.
But I don't think that people come to their console for the social media aspect. They will share their uploads to the social media, the prominent social media platforms, but I don't think they want to view Facebook or get into clubs and interact socially that way. They're trying. I hope they stop. That's it. I hope they stop. And I had no problem with the interface. The interface was just fine. They updated it just before the new series consoles came out. And just because PlayStation came out with a new UI with theirs, Xbox people forgot that we just got our UI updated. All I want to do is find my games and apps and locate my parties. That's it.
Are you serious?
Like,
all they should have been doing was number one, tweaking it to be faster, right? To add those little and fix goddamn bugs. How about that? Before you start adding some new stuff, why don't you fix what you already got, right? Make it rock solid and stable. Some of these bugs are long standing. And if they took all this energy that they put into all that other stuff, man, they could have fixed these bugs a long time ago, especially when it comes to parties and stuff. A lot of these bugs we've been experiencing in certain forms since the 360 when they first added the party system. That still exists, but they come about in different ways, right? Like the bug reintroduces itself in a different way, right? It's not the same bug, but it does the same thing to you, right? We've been dealing with that. Like all these stupid things that they try to add, but you have figures like, okay, the community thing, but we had this other stuff like, okay, why don't you change the old one into this new one and keep it pushing? Well, you have to change the whole interface for it. We can make it better, faster, leaner, more efficient.
We do critique Xbox for doing some dumb stuff, and here's
why, bro.
But like a real we got real complaints, man. We're not complaining about a game that we had the opportunity to pay $5 for before Game Pass, leaving Game Pass. But, for Ponte, LFG means looking for a group.
Yeah, looking for a group.
That's how you game. That's how you game up with people when you need help in a game.
Dog, I've used that so many times in Diablo, in Dying Light. A lot of stuff that's co-op. I've used it, and it's a great feature, and I'm glad they put it out there because you could just post it, and within minutes, somebody's like, "Yeah, I want to join. Let's do this."
Or you can join somebody else.
Or join somebody else
that doesn't have a full group, and they'll jump you right in because people in these multiplayer games, they want to play with people. And this makes it so much easier.
It's system wide instead of being just built into the game. You know, when you go into a game and you're looking and you're searching for multiplayer, no, there's all these other modes, right? These co-op modes and stuff. So now you're searching for, hey, who wants to play this? Maybe somebody's playing something else or puts up a flag for some other game, but they'll play a different game because they can play with someone and it's a game they're familiar with. Then maybe later on you play the other game. You find somebody new to add to your list, right? You're doing other things. This is community, real community. See, that's a community function that we have now. But then here's another one that we had from the beginning that they screwed up. That's the DVR functionality. It's straight ass, right? And we had a whole app from day one. Like the app was on the Xbox. I forget the name of the app. Upload Studio, right? Not only that,
Xbox, but that was more for editing, though.
Right, but see, you could do shows. That should have been the app you use to control, edit, share everything you record. That should have been Union Central for all of that stuff. You press a button combination, it auto launches into that, like when you finish recording stuff, and they go into the full menu to do whatever you want to do. People were making podcasts and stuff.
Oh, they were.
Yeah. And not only that, the Xbox app was up on iOS and stuff and Android and all of that. Like before the system was out, and there was already content on there for people who got systems early, and you could see and get used to what Xbox One was. And that's a whole thing we could have had at a Super Saiyan level at this point from all these years from when they first introduced it. It was 2013. That was 10 years ago. Imagine if they stuck to it all that time instead of killing it when they did.
And they were hyping it up so much at the time too.
And we needed that then, and
they just dropped it. Like don't forget. It's like nobody forgot. We're still talking about it.
Yeah, and we have bugs now with the recordings and stuff that people are talking about all the time. I don't really experience it myself with mine, so I guess I'm lucky until it happens to me. I don't know. But we have nothing. We have they don't even at least fix that bug. Fix that bug. At least do that. Right? That's simple. That's comparatively simple. They got work to do as well. So, and you can see the passion in which we're talking about it. Like, it's not like we sit here and like kiss Xbox's ass all day. I don't know.
No. We always.
I don't share a lot of clips. but when I do, no, like
But
I
when
don't
I
like
do,
it.
I have my
But I
favorite
know,
beverage right here.
but I have noticed that they are making small changes and they're slowly moving in the right direction. They added the trim. You can
Oh, they're
also
all
choose.
about the slowness.
You can also choose what resolution you want to save at, the duration.
Yeah.
So they're making changes. They're updating it. Uh, so I can see them moving in the right direction, but you know
It's a
they got
slow
to catch
burn.
up. They got to catch up with the competition. But as long
Yeah.
as Nintendo exists, I guess Xbox says, well, look at
Yeah, because
Nintendo,
Nintendo ain't got
because
none.
well, they got something, but it's pretty boo boo.
Wow.
It's pretty
Boo
boo boo.
boo.
Jason, welcome to the show. Casuals are used to the PlayStation dashboard. The cross media bar was said to be the best by media, and people are saying Xbox dashboard is blandness.
It's true.
The dashboard wasn't bad. You know what? Now that I got the PlayStation 5, I prefer the crossbar or the cross, whatever you want to call it, than what's on now on the PlayStation 5.
Oh,
Are you
you mean
talking
the
about
one
like
that was on
the
PS3?
PlayStation 4?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, PlayStation 4. Yeah.
4. Okay.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I didn't experience that, but I heard about it. And honestly, man, the first 5 minutes that I was into that interface, I was like, okay, they got cool mood music and brighter colors.
Mm.
But other than that, man, I
even
went
now
to
that I've had
Netflix.
even now that I've had my PlayStation for a few months now, I still am like, it's like, what am I supposed to do on this dashboard? Because I'm not used to it, and I don't play enough of it. I don't play enough dashboard to know where everything's at.
Me either.
To know where everything's at. So I prefer the PS4 and the PS3 dashboard over the PlayStation 5. There's just too much going on the PlayStation 5. I don't like it.
Bro, I'm not even totally familiar with the Xbox dashboard. Right? I set my home tabs. It's Game Pass, Xbox Store, my games and apps. Right?
That's me.
There have been months that I forgot to check.
I care about the most.
But there have been months that I forgot to check my games with gold because I don't even know what a tab is. I don't care.
I used to put a crap load of cards on my homepage, a bunch of them, all my favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I got fed up and like, I'm just going to clean it up. So just like you, all I got is Game Pass first and then the store. And then that's it. I got nothing else.
I just pin a row of games and apps that I use every day.
Yeah.
Or my most important games or games that I'm messing with. So from time to time, I'll prune what's on that list of games, right? But other than that stays, and that's been like that since Xbox One. And when they first introduced this feature.
I just learned what a quick resume tab was. I would just go back to a game and automatically boot it up. I didn't know where it was, but now I know what the quick resume tab is, and also I know that.
And that's only because you bothered to look at it just now.
Well, it was an accident. I was trying to get into apps, but I was going into games. But then there's another tab that says that you can click for quick resume. It's like I'm like Tech, bro. I'm not fluent in playing dashboard. Like I don't play a whole lot of dashboard.
Right.
I just need to know how to get to my games. That's all I care about because like every other interface is not as interesting. Right? You go to the PC, Steam doesn't have all that. Epic doesn't have all that. GOG doesn't have all that. But you go there to play games, and now watch
have a launcher
streaming
to pick
services.
your games and launch them and play them. You know what I'm saying?
Who was it at? Just let's see. Oh, it was Jason. But the ponies keep talking about the 1080p dashboard. It's not 1080p anymore. Ponies
anymore. And the debate back then was 1080p or use up a bunch of memory for 4K when I could have went to the games, right?
Yeah.
And they made the right choice, the choice that anybody should make. Give more to the developers, in terms of the system resources for their games instead of some dashboard that's really just need.
I couldn't even tell that it was 1080.
Yeah, and then when they put it into 4K, I didn't really even notice that it was like I didn't really even notice the difference on the C10 55-inch. I'm not even 4 feet away from it. It's my computer monitor, bro. Like I don't see a difference on that, right? And
these dudes were complaining that the screen switched when it went to game mode.
Memory. Yeah, right. But now, okay, so now that's fixed. But even then, didn't the Xbox upscale that? Why should it have ever left 4K? But I don't know, right?
I don't know.
It didn't click for me. It stayed in 4K all day. I don't know, bro.
Guys in the chatterbox, if you got Twitter, you can always follow these two guys here, SIKSLAYER and Realist at SIKSLAYER. You see his name right there. Realist, you don't have yours, but his is the same, the Realist one on Twitter. And me, TEKNOBLAST, as it's spelled. And you'll find me there too if you want to follow me on Twitter. So, so Realist was having some fun with some people
on the Twitter
on this news about Western Digital coming out with a new expansion card alternative at a cheaper price. And what'd you say to some guy? He said, "Congratulations for waiting 3 years to save $20."
Yeah,
I didn't forget that one, man.
I said, congratulations. Congratulations to all the gamers who held out and complained, waiting for a new hard drive or SSD to save $20 3 years later. It's ridiculous, man. And the sooner us Xbox fans understand that this proprietary card, it's like Sony, right? Sony had their proprietary memory card. People complained about the prices. Oh, I can get a SanDisk for this price. They're not competing with SanDisk because SanDisk cannot work on their hardware.
But
same thing with Xbox. They're not competing with Sabrent or Samsung or all these other things. They're not competing with these companies. So stop trying to make them price their hard or now you can't make them. Stop trying to make these or complain them into competing with these companies because these companies SSDs are not going to be on Xbox. So there's nothing for them to compete with. The only competition is the competition that will be on the platform, which is now Western Digital and Seagate. And then now that Western Digital comes in, you're saving $20. That's the lower that you're going to sit and fight and argue about and pick it for. No, and the prices won't go down lower until a third party comes in. Then you'll save another $20.
And the funny thing,
I think that they have a partner. This. Go ahead.
No, you can finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying I think they have a partner that's content with the arrangement in Seagate, and they'll be the ones who will be there for the long haul. Like so far, Western Digital, maybe I don't see Samsung jumping in, throwing their name into the hat. I mean, I don't see anybody else. So you're gonna have these two going head to head, and you're gonna be saving, little by little every year. I'm not waiting for storage. If I want a storage, I'm not gonna wait for another 2 years for somebody else to come throw their name in the hat and get a $20 discount on an SSD. I'm sorry.
There's a new Xbox coming out.
Right. Man, I bought a 1 terabyte day one, never got a 2 terabyte or whatever, because that was, I thought, way too much, right? But I think, here's the thing. No matter what you think on the like, I do think these are too much money, and just because they're not competing, it's an artificial lock. But I get it. I get what you're saying, but come on, bro. They need to start dropping prices, right? But then you did bring up some good reason as to why that could be, right?
Yeah.
Relis, you said a lot of good things about, like, maybe it's a contractual thing. Who knows, right? But two things. Number one,
well, that was before competition,
right? In that last paragraph, no, don't scroll up, because that last paragraph right there, I'm about to quote that right there. People will figure out what it really was. It's really just one of the smaller M.2s with a compact Flash Express adapter, right? And so people were able to find those. You remember when the Steam Deck was brand new and people were trying to find SSDs and it was so hard? Now they're everywhere, right? And cheap and plentiful for all sizes, capacities, whatever you want, right? Eventually,
right.
That's what happened with these adapters, and these drives are easy to find now because of the whole Steam Deck situation. I guess helped with that too, right? So now when people started turning to this, and then what does Microsoft do? They block it, right? Because it's an artificial thing. So it's what people complain about. I get that. So now, it's funny to me that the conversation had just started heating up over this again, and then all of a sudden, boom! This happens out of nowhere. I can't sit here and be like, this is just a coincidence. Nah, bro, I'm not one of those tinfoil, and I hate.
They've been complaining for 3 years. They've been complaining for 3 years, Sick.
Right, and indeed they have. But I'm not one, and I really don't like when people make conspiracies out of everything. I really hate that. I'm really against that. But I find it ironic because the conversation, it comes in waves though. They've been talking about it for years, but it comes in waves, right? And we were going through another wave of this complaining and stuff. We've been talking about in Spaces. It's been on in Twitter. I'm sure it started because some PlayStation fanboy wanted to use that as a talking point again, and it caught a new wave or some dumb shit like that, right? But for whatever reason, right? And I feel it's funny that all of a sudden now when they heat it up again, this conversation, boom, this happens, and it happened with almost no fanfare, as if, hey, we're listening. And I noticed that happens a lot with Xbox, low key, right? Like the conversation in the community is about some subject, then boom, all of a sudden Microsoft does something about it.
Yeah, but see, look, man. I said this before, but when we had an SSD and they didn't, everybody was cool. All the SSDs were $200 back then. But then now you got all these people who threw their names in the hat, right? And you also have SSDs like for PlayStation that are not rated for PlayStation. With these SSDs, Microsoft's warranting these SSDs. If you have a problem, you can call Microsoft for these problems. If you have a problem with your SSD on a PlayStation, that's not theirs. That's your problem. They're not gonna do anything to help you. They're gonna say have a good day. That's the difference. And a lot of people are arguing to save $50. I think Tech, you said this. If you're saving money with Game Pass, isn't this the time to just reallocate those monies?
Yeah.
You're saving all this money on Game Pass, $6,000. All these hype pieces that people put on Twitter.
I don't even pay for Game Pass because of the rewards thing. I don't like.
All that. Guess what? You can buy SSD with your rewards too.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Look, man, reallocate those monies, because honestly,
people, you gotta learn how to move your money, man. Be smart with your wallet.
Yeah,
that's right. But Tech, I don't know about y'all, but I had a Neo Geo. Right, my daddy is a blue collar man. That thing was $600. The cartridges were $200. Another joystick was $200.
Mr.
Show off. No, it's not a show off. I didn't understand. I didn't understand money.
That's my son right now.
So I said, Daddy, can I have that? Because we would get Babbage's catalogs mailed to the house. And I was like, Daddy, can I have this? Can I have this? I asked
Babbage's?
Babbage. Did y'all? Did Texas ever have Babbage's?
I guess not.
No, I remember Babbage's.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen a Babbage's in Texas. I've seen Electronics Boutique, but on the East it was Babbage's. So we would get Babbage's mailed to the house, and I'd be like, Daddy, can I have it? Son, we'll see. And then finally he broke down and said, I want you to get all A's. I want you to take out all the trash. I don't want to have to ask you to mow the lawn. I did that tough, right?
But now it was a matter of his word.
Well, because he was hoping I slipped up once.
Oh.
he was hoping that I didn't do it. I'm pretty sure if I didn't hit the trash one day, he was gonna be like, "Well, son, I'm not gonna get that little game you told me about." But gaming has always been an expensive hobby, right?
Yes,
and then what consoles have done is they somewhat made it more affordable. But if you look at where the consoles are going now, we should give Xbox more praise than we do, and Nintendo, for hitting that $300 price point. But especially Xbox will give you next gen console gaming for $300.
Yep.
This SSD, these slow loading times that people have been complaining about for years, we got to pay for it. Right now, just because the SSDs, there's a lot of competition that wasn't there before, because nobody was really making SSDs. They were $400 for a gig of storage, not before, or terabyte of storage before. Now you got more people into throwing their name in. They were like $300 around the time of the PlayStation. It was still $249, $220.
What the M2 styles though, right? The M2 style.
Yeah. But then the thing with PlayStation is they weren't ready to unlock it. Because I remember the Western Digital but I remember the Western Digital advertisement where they said this will work with your PlayStation 5, and that about 2 weeks later, I'm assuming that Sony told them go ahead and take that down because we're not ready. But they've got.
They did it. In fact, Mark Sony even tweeted that was like his driver choice, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, but because they always said it could work. Same thing with Samsung. But
Yeah.
again, there are pros and cons of both sides. Yeah, you can get, because they've gotten 3 gig rewrite to work on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 7, and none of them are on par with the one that's in the PlayStation 5. That one's still better. But the pros
high end
to
ones you
the
can get, but they cost a lot of money. You know.
the pros to the extra $50 on your or on your SSD with Xbox is you can call Xbox if something gets too hot and melts in the back. Right? The PlayStation, it happens with PlayStation.
All of that. It's great.
The one with PlayStation, you saved $50, but you better not call Sony when that sun gonna catch on fire. I'll tell you that.
Boom!
Facts.
Hey, Sony, my thing just blew up. Sorry.
Well, they're gonna act like they're trying to help you. They're gonna say, "Well, was it a certified SSD? Where'd you buy it?" And then they're gonna give you the hard news, is which we can't help.
There's give and take on both
Maybe
sides.
if you're a tier 1, they'll help you.
Yeah, sure.
The hell?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let me pause here for a second and give a shout out to Jason Redmond for the $5 super chat. The expansion card isn't an ordinary SSD. It's custom for the series consoles.
Actually, it isn't. It's a standard part. It wasn't. It just wasn't too common in the public eye, right? Just like I said about the SSD in the Steam Deck. It's really just an SSD of that size, of that smaller size, right? And a compact flash express adapter to M.2. That's all it is, right? And like I said,
I think some
no,
dudes
it's very literally that, because you were able to buy those parts online, put them together, and it used to work on the Xbox.
Yeah, there were some dudes out there who actually
blocked it.
It worked of it, right?
Right.
So do y'all think they'll eventually get around to selling shells and you put your own SSD in there?
It's already out there.
They had that. Look, it's right there in the. You must not be able to see the screen, but it's right there in the article on the screen, right there. That last paragraph I told them not to scroll away from.
Let me see.
That's why it says that right there. No, scroll down where you were already at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those 3.
Dude, I'm buzzed, dog. I'm drunk.
That's what I'm telling you. Don't be, it's right there. It's right there. That's what that's talking about. It explains that whole situation. It even says what kind of size M.2 adapter. So yeah, it really did. It's really a PCIe Express 4 like the one on the PlayStation, but with only 2 lanes instead of 4. And that's why the PlayStation drive is twice as fast. It's twice as many lanes.
Man,
but that doesn't really matter at this point.
Punty needs to come on one of these days, man. Look what he's
got stabbed in his face a couple days ago. Techno's gaming. How there's someone so rich. So if I was to be on hide with a bunch of ladies and just game, that's how you get stabbed up, though. You get stabbed up that way instead.
You're so distracted by the ladies, you're gonna get shanked, dog.
Yeah, man. That's probably what happened to him. He probably had the pile of cocaine and everything.
Yes.
It's the Cash App dude. That dude is I mean, jeez, the Cash App guy died? Jeez.
Yeah, he did. I saw an article
I heard about that. Yeah. That's messed up.
Yeah. You can Cash App me. Here, let me tell you my Cash App. No. I don't want to pay taxes on that crap, man.
But yeah. So yeah, it worked, and then they did a firmware update and then to block it. So that's what I was saying before.
But here's my stance on it. I never liked the proprietary card. This is no different when Sony came out with their own memory cards for the Vita. I was so mad because you can use regular SSD, like micro SD cards on the Vita if it was shaped the way it was supposed to be shaped, right? Yeah. But there was, Sony being Sony, they had to come out with their own little card, right? And overprice it by 3 times or so. And then when I first saw this, not this Western Digital, but the Seagate one, I'm like, oh man, they're going the same route that Sony did with the Vita, right? But like we talked about last week, I bought the first one at full price because there's not, it was brand new when it first came out.
I bought it.
And the second and the third one that I do have, I bought that on third-party marketplaces at a very low cost compared to retail. So I don't know. I mean, I never liked the idea of these type of cards, but mean, what do? You can't really do anything about it. You get what you get, and that's it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But
I never had an issue, and like it's the people who compare, right? If you didn't have a problem before, but then you looked over the fence and saw, oh, they're able to get theirs for $150. Why can't I get mine for $50? Well, because you're not a PlayStation guy. Go play PlayStation if it means that much to you. That's my attitude about it. Like if I wanted to play on PlayStation, I wouldn't care what Xbox had. It is what it is. Like they're not, but at the end of the story, they're not competing with the open market. The only competition is on their platform.
Yeah.
And I understand that from a business perspective, and I don't blame them. But if they weren't selling enough, they would probably do something different. I think that everybody's happy with the arrangement, which is why Seagate was the only one for for 2.5 years. It's exactly 2.5 years. Seagate was the only one. Seagate's happy, Microsoft's happy. They barely lower the price on them, but now they will lower it to compete with
Seagate has always been their preferred vendor when it came to these things.
It's like I think they're hard drives and everything.
But I think they're in Washington, right along with Xbox.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had to mail a hard drive to them one time. So that's probably why they got these sweetheart deals. Probably got a deal with Duracell too, huh?
Probably.
Oh, I think they do. Literally.
I use rechargeable inner loops.
I use them in Microsoft.
I got those inner loops too.
Yeah.
Well, I have a bunch of inner loops for many things: my mouse, my keyboard, remote, stuff like that. And that charger, I got
this. A big thing of batteries for everybody else.
Oh wow, that's like having all the different size screwdrivers.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Oh no,
that's
nobody
cool.
uses my rechargeable ones because they'll lose my rechargeable ones.
Exactly.
You get them this fancy pack here. That's nice. Where'd you get that from?
Yeah. Oh, it was like
Amazon,
Home Depot for $10 or something like that.
What? That's dope. That's dope. Get a pack of double A's in $8-10. You got every kind for $10. That's dope.
Yeah. Jason says Seagate holds the patent. Oh, I guess patent. He didn't mean patent, but patent for the Xbox expansion cards. But it's about Western Digital has the technology to make expansion cards. I looked it up and it's custom. Yeah. That's probably what it is. Yep. So it's cool. I mean, bring them out. Bring some more different vendors with the expansion cards so they could have different prices. They can compete and bring them down. But
Tech, who waited 3 years, bro? I got SSDs. Like I ain't not gonna wait 3 years. I needed SSDs day one. Shout out to the super chat though.
But he posted the same thing again.
He posted the same thing. And for the super chat, we'll leave this up for a bit. Seagate holds the patent for the Xbox expansion card, but it's about up. Western Digital has the technology to make the expansion card. I looked it up. It's custom. So yeah, I mean, I'll welcome some more. Bring on somebody else that can make it. Have Micro Center make their own card and at a fraction of the cost.
You know they would try to. Micro Center makes everying.
Micro Center makes everything, man.
I love that place, bro. And it's right there at the checkout line. You go in there, it's like, would you be interested in an SSD? Well, for $30, I'll buy this 512.
So where's the one in Houston? Because they closed the old one that I knew of.
No, it's in the same area. Like it's always in the Galleria area. This one is right off the 610. No, the other one's on 610 too. Basically, they put it. It's on Rice now. Just keep it simple. The other one was on San Felipe.
Yeah, it was San Felipe and 610. But but this one is on Rice and 59, which is right off 610. Yeah. It's on the other side. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, Sick. This is the last topic I got, and this is all you. So you tell us what you think about this. Okay. The new Rogue Ally by Asus, the 7-inch display, 6x9, 1080, 500 nits, 120 hertz, 5 millisecond. Since you're a Steam Deck guy, what can you tell us?
So, about this. So, this was a subject I wanted to have another episode of the Steam Deck podcast with Realist about, where we would discuss, what you would want to see in a next gen Steam Deck, or like the next handheld to hold the title, right? That's
second gen, pretty much.
Right, the second gen, right? It didn't have to be from Valve, and this one isn't, right? But what would be in the next, right? And you might debate some of what's in here, but generally what you wanted was, as good or nicer screen, right? Better performance. You don't want the weight to be any more. You would like the battery life to be better. You want all positives, no negatives. And you want, if it's a third party, you want the price to at least be realistically competitive, right? Because we know the Steam Deck, they're doing the console type situation where they're selling, it's like the Razor Blades model. They're making the money on the back end, selling games on Steam. Like Asus doesn't have that advantage. So they got to do like GPD and all these other guys who do these handhelds like I and Neo that little spec there in the, I don't know if it's in the stream or whatever, but I feel like it's on my monitor, but it's not. Yeah, that's your mouse. Oh, okay. I got an OLED. Now I got to watch out.
Right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I have to look at my...
So anyway, yeah. So this has a lot of stuff that people probably would say, if you have that discussion, what they want to see on the next level up, right? So now Dave 2D and also more importantly, Linus Tech Tips, right? Because he was the one when he first got his hands on the Steam Deck the first time, and as soon as he got the chance, he bought his gear, he tested it out, he got all the info that he could extract out of it that he would that he was allowed to get the straight facts, right? So Dave took a lot of pictures, and Linus, he tried to get some answers, right? And Dave got some answers too. So hopefully we find out more in the future. But this is pretty good. The only question now, because everything else is okay here, right? It's not the absolute dream of everything, because I'm sure a lot of people would want an OLED and blah blah blah. But it's really hard to get an OLED in this market. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not something you're gonna find off the shelf. It doesn't really exist like that with OLED, with like this size and form factor, right? Yeah. They have ones for tablets, but those are too big, and they don't have a tablet screen small enough for you to put in a handheld like this. So LCD it is for now. At least we got the 120 hertz. It's not just about 120 hertz too. It's about doing other refresh rates. It's a nice even multiple, 40, stuff like that, right? Let's get the next level up. What's most important, and this was what I said from the very beginning, this is what's important. What the Steam Deck did was it was a new baseline minimum, right? So it's not just about the Steam Deck itself, but it's also about that operating system. It's about that whole platform they've developed.
And I'm about to ask you about that, because we got Steam Deck with the Steam OS, right?
Yeah, that's supposed to come out in public. They're still working on it and tweaking that and getting that right. The Steam Deck gets updates almost every other day with new stuff or fixes to stuff, where over the past year since it's been out, they've really revolutionized what it is. We were talking about the Xbox dashboard.
Yeah.
Well, this is what's been happening in the Steam Deck, so that you can compress everything that's happened with the life of Xbox to the Steam Deck in about a year. Honestly, they've done so much.
So what would Rogue have? Like their own?
It's going to have Windows 11, but they do have their little app that tie everything together. But you could run Steam. Of course, it'll run Steam, and you could run the Steam interface. And when Steam OS comes out, you could install it on this and other handhelds and other devices, or even a PC. If you just don't want to be a PC guy but want to try out PC hardware and PC gaming, you could do it via Steam OS. So the announcement and the release of the Steam Deck was a new paradigm in many ways, not just in having handheld PCs, but a platform and all these other things, right? An operating system that you can see the competition could also use, right?
Yeah.
Didn't just have to be Windows, which also reduces the price of the device, because you're not paying that Windows license, right? You can get that on your own if you're smart for less money than you're paying via the cost of the device. Yeah. That helps to bring the price down too. But this does have Windows 11 on it, so I don't know, right? But there's a lot of things to be seen here. This is real good. There's a little bit. We got to find out that price, because a good price will make this valid, right? A bad price will completely invalidate this, no matter what it does above the Steam Deck, right? So that got to be right.
It's always about the price. It's always.
A lot of people are saying, okay, a lot of realistic voices, right, who understand what it is, will say 800, right? That's still, I feel,
wait.
low.
So let's go back to the Steam Deck. What is the starting base price for the Steam Deck?
The base price for the 64 gig one is $399. That 64 gig is so minuscule for even if you just put all your games off the SD card. There's still all the caching and all that other stuff for operating system, right? That's eating up that 64, and that's real base minimum. At least if you get that, with the intent of replacing the SSD with something on your own, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to save money, so yeah, $399, but that comes with some caveats, right? I got the top one, not willing to want to deal with any of those caveats and just expecting to be, future hardware like the Ally and others to come, to knock off that luster of the Steam Deck. But the Steam Deck is, the trope name, or this is the thing everybody's focused on, even though there's other devices that are better in performance or resolution or whatever. And this does all of those things in one package, even, right? Buy a name you can trust, and you can buy that Best Buy. So that's this is something that really talks about all the time, right? And I'm sure when he speaks, he'll get into that. So I'll leave it at this. Pass it on to him. That Best Buy, you know what I'm saying? You buy it from Best Buy. That's your point of sale, your point of contact. But and right the first thing,
I went to Best Buy today.
650 was that would be
pathetic at Best Buy right now.
Yeah,
it's sad looking right now if you walk into a Best Buy.
Yeah, especially with Micro Center doing what they do. But Best Buy, just even if you take Micro Center out of the equation, yeah, they're doing real bad. But yeah, man, listen, a good price can validate this. A bad price can completely invalidate this, man. I'm gonna pat this on the realist.
Yeah, but for me, it's gonna be a godsend, man. Because my biggest issue with the Steam Deck is being locked down to Steam. Right? We're all Game Pass subscribers. We can't play our Game Pass games without buying them.
Talking.
All right. So you're gonna be able to play your Epic launcher without having to jump through hoops. You're gonna have your GOG games that you can play because they're Windows based. All these things pretty much sell it for me already. But the fact that it's going to be more powerful, it's going to be on RDNA 3. And like you said, Sik, I expect it to be around $800. But the big thing for me is like the way that Steam Deck didn't have their dock day one, and they weren't selling it because with this one they're promoting Game Pass. So I feel like the dock needs to be in the box if they're trying to promote the PC console type of experience. All right, you're gonna be able to put Steam on there. I wouldn't care so much about Steam OS as long as I can have the Steam launcher. You can use big picture mode if you want to have the console feel with it. But I expect $800. I saw that somebody said that it's gonna be $650. It's gonna say, but see, you can't sell it for $650 unless you have a partner, unless Microsoft's gonna get involved somewhere and help subsidize it. Right.
And if that was the case, they would have did that already or said so already.
And the thing, like what you said with LEDs, or I'm sorry, OLEDs, OLED can be done, but then you start bumping the price up even more. There's a reason why the Switch waited 5-6 years before they brought out an OLED Switch, because those components that they're using in the Switch are so old and cheap that they can afford to go ahead and put a better screen in there, and it's still 720. And if they're trying to compete with Steam Deck, who has games to subsidize their costs, right? For $399 is, that's still a lot of money for a handheld, but you got an 800p screen, and it doesn't look the best. They made an update about a month ago to make it sharper, but when it comes to the Ally, I just see myself being able to play more games, not having a double dip, because that's what you're gonna have to do with the Steam Deck. Right, you can't play those Windows games. You can't play the Game Pass games. Those Game Pass games are going to go through Windows. You can,
but you have to install Windows and go through all that. Right?
I ain't jerry rigging it. Like I used to do that, and I don't have time for that now. So, and plus, I want it to work. I don't want to have problems. I don't want to have to visit forums whenever I have an issue with it. And you brought up Best Buy, which lets me know that this is for real, right? Because when it comes to your IAs and your One X player, those are small companies that might not be here tomorrow. So if you have an issue, you're going to be on your own. When you go through Best Buy, you have an issue, you go to Best Buy, like you said, your point of contact. That's who you're going to be dealing with. You don't have to, and you know that Asus is a reliable company. They've been around. They've got other PCs on the sales floor. To me, that's another selling point for this thing. But most of all, I know that Linux people don't like Windows, but Windows just has more compatibility. I'm sorry. Like, I can't play my GOG games. I get games from Amazon for free that you have to download from GOG.
Yeah.
You can't play those on the Steam Deck unless you're gonna have to do workarounds. The Heroic Games Launcher, sometimes it works for me just fine, sometimes it doesn't. But I won't have to worry about that due to it working natively on Windows and being developed on Windows. Those games are gonna work no problem.
It's crazy.
And,
It's crazy. It's crazy what you're saying.
Crazy in a bad way?
No, the fact that well, yeah, in a bad way that there's all these issues, you know what I'm saying? It makes it annoying.
Well, it's not.
It makes it.
The thing is that if Valve has put their foot in their mouth, I believe that if the Steam machine kicked off the way they wanted it to, like the Steam Deck has, they would have the similar attitude as Apple, Microsoft, Sony, and everybody else. But since they've been championing this open platform, now they have to open it up to everybody, but they don't want to, and you have to do workarounds. Linux itself is open. You can do whatever you want in Linux, and Valve is not going to stop you. It would look horrible if they tried.
Right.
But I think that they would prefer that everything be confined within Valve, because that's just the way the Steam Deck is set up. You have to go into the PC mode to do these workarounds that may or may not work. You have problems, you got to go to forums. That's why I don't even use Heroic anymore, because my cloud saves worked sometimes and sometimes they didn't. So it's like, man, I don't want to keep replaying this thing. And then my GOG games that I'm getting for free, I can never play them on a Steam Deck because they're Windows.
Yeah.
You know, unless there's a workaround that I don't know about.
The funny thing I noticed was before the Steam Deck was released, all the Windows handhelds were out, right? And, you know, there would be new ones all the time, and Linus Tech Tips and all these guys would do reviews, and it would be all great. ETA Prime, all of these guys, right? Or the Fox, great. Then the Steam Deck comes out, and they're saying, oh, it's so much better than Windows because you got this interface. And yeah, all of that is true, right? It's saying facts. And then they go into, but now, okay, and then the drivers come out to put Windows on the Steam Deck if you want to do that. Now, all of a sudden, Windows is a horrible operating system for these handhelds. Now, all of a sudden, it sucks, and it's all this stuff. And I'm like, 85% of it is having the big picture mode, right? That gives you that the console-like interface. Y'all had that. So what are you talking about that? The other 15% is that little fit and finish when that Steam button and that 3-dot button that you press so you can slide out and get all these other options. The only reason it sucked on Windows is because y'all didn't implement that on the Windows side, right? And it's only now we have some of that, right? So it was disingenuous. You see, this is what I was talking about before. They said something that's true to make you think of something else that's not true. And that's what they did there. Like, oh, Windows is a horrible platform to use these on. But they never said anything about that.
But installing Windows on a Steam Deck is not about just using Windows. It's about having everything else on top of that, right?
Exactly, right. But it's not just about the Steam Deck. It's about all these handhelds. Windows was just great. They had no complaints about it until the Steam Deck was announced. Now all of a sudden,
because you're not trying to work Word in it. You're not trying to do your spreadsheets in it. You're trying to run your gaming stuff on it.
Right.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right. And
but
so
all Microsoft go ahead.
I was just saying is that they tried to portray it like it was this horrible experience all of a sudden now, but it was great for years before Valve entered, right? And then they tried to claim it's because of these little options. And the only reason that you could even say that is because they're the ones who were supposed to implement that and did on the Windows side, on the Steam Deck or any of these handhelds, right? Like these handhelds have to have these custom versions or tweak of the SteamOS to get their buttons to work, or they have their own little apps, right? Like the Ally is going to have their app. iNeo has their own app, right? That gives you the access when you press that button to tweak the fan speeds and the power usage and all that other stuff, right? That all of a sudden for years they had no complaint about. Now the Steam Deck is out, and now the Windows platform was horrible for. It's like they always have this hate boner for Microsoft, right? Meanwhile, Windows is a perfect platform for you to avoid all these stupid issues that you have with SteamOS. The SteamOS, I advocate for the fact I can't wait for it to be out there for anybody to use to install on whatever machine they want. I advocate for that, right? But for me, I want goddamn Windows. The SteamOS, now Steam has the big picture mode where it's the one from the Steam Deck. We've got that now. We have the ability to run whatever launch we want to play, whatever game, emulator, whatever, just within Windows. That's more comfortable for people, more compatible. You can get stuff to do other things with, right? Gaming related. In Linux, it's always some kind of workaround you got to do. You got to learn this whole other patois of stuff.
Language.
For what? Yeah, a whole language of bullshit. Like, really? Why gotta go through all of that to get stuff to work? And even like they love to complain, like, for example, the Windows Store app, right? Oh, it never works, blah, blah, blah. And I never had a problem. But you know what I did have a problem with? That same app they have on the desktop side in the Linux, for the Steam operating system. Like when you go there to, to update, the little background apps, you might have Discord or whatever, right? That thing crashes for me all the time. I have to find a command line thing to run it, to get it to, to do it in the background. That thing crashed for me 90% of the time. I've never talked about that. It happens all the time when I try to launch it the way you're supposed to, with a mouse or whatever. No, I have to find some stupid hack command line thing to paste to make it do it the manual way. Like, I would never have a problem like this in Windows, ever. Like, people complain about Microsoft all day, but their stuff works.
Well, all Microsoft has to do is create a lightweight gaming platform. And we know that AMD and Microsoft work closely together on a whole lot of things. This might be
I don't even know if they
where
need that anyway. I don't even think they need that anymore at this point.
People complain about all the extra processes, right? So if there's a gaming
mode
operating system,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, or at the very least a mode,
yeah,
right? Then that transforms everything to be more gaming focused. Because like Tech said, you're not gonna be running Word. Bro, I saw somebody trying to do Teams on his Steam Deck. I was like, bro, if you have a laptop, why do you need to do that?
Yeah.
Not what is it called? Team Viewer, where you can access someone else's screen.
Yeah, it's Team Viewer. Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, if you have a laptop, but I only want to carry one. I said, well, just carry a laptop then.
Carry the laptop, and a controller. Yeah. Like, listen, I respect the fact that you have that option. If you're in some kind of emergency situation, you need to do some kind of computing, and it's all you got. I'm happy you got the ability to not.
This guy is planning.
He's planning around that. Get the hell out of here, bro.
This is not an emergency. He's anticipating an emergency, and he wants to know if he should bring his Steam Deck or his laptop. But
bring your laptop, bro.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And if this thing, and if you look at like with Steam, right? I had to do a whole workaround to do Game Pass streaming, right?
Yeah. Why isn't there an app? I don't know.
Well, because they say they're going to work together, but I don't think they're working together the way they say they are.
Yeah, because working together would mean they would have an app by now.
Right. You have to go in. You have to configure the app, write the code in there, and then it'll work. So, and then mine doesn't even work anymore. I just said to hell with it. But but that Game Pass is going to work on this thing. No hiccups unless it's your internet connection speed. Everything's going to work just fine with this thing, and that's what I'm looking forward to. You can install Steam on it if you want to.
Yeah.
Right. That's my problem with Steam. They closed off after speaking about all this openness and no wall gardens, but then they have a closed off ecosystem. Right. Your browsers are they work good enough. Right. I would welcome this one being Windows. Now, about the 650. If they can somehow get it to where they get a piece of the game sales.
If it's 650, that would be
no.
That's a paradigm shift.
What I'm saying, somebody in a chat, Tech had it up. I'm just speaking to the reason why everybody who's buying these things, who buy tech like that, we're saying 800, is because it has to be for this tech. It can't be 650 and they make money. Asus has to make money. Steam is not trying to make money with the Steam Deck right now. They were selling for cost or at a loss. They know that they're going to make their money back on the software.
Claim that this hardware cost them more than $650. If they came out,
Well,
dude, this costs more than $650.
650 is just a number that I can't remember said in the chat. His name was her, something like that. Because he said Aces or ROG said that it was going to be competitive with the Steam Deck, but competitive does not mean that close in price. Because I'll tell you what's not competitive. The 1X player for $1,400, that's not competitive. You see what I'm saying? They won't be that high, but if they can find out some other way
competitive unless you're in the Kickstarter or whatever that thing that they do at the very beginning.
Yeah, not even that to me. And the Aya was, because I almost did it, but if they can figure out a way to get a cut of the game sales, because I know Microsoft can do it, because Microsoft, but Steam wouldn't be inclined to do it. Microsoft would probably be the only one that's inclined to give a cut of the game sales, because they were doing it with GameStop. For every Xbox sold, the digital is sold, they get a piece of the digital sales. That would be something that they would have to agree to get that price closer to what Steam Deck is. $512 for $650, I doubt it. That would be what you pay $800 for. You might have a $500 entry. Maybe. You might have a $500 entry price with this thing, as opposed to them trying to compete dollar for dollar, because they can't. They just simply can't. AMD would have to do something to get it subsidized somehow to get it that competitive.
Yeah,
and that's the issue with these things, and why they don't sell a lot of them. But that dock needs to be in the box day one to help people understand that you can treat this like a console. You can play this on your TV, because that's the magic of the Switch. The Switch, a lot of people bought it because it's a Game Boy. The Game Boy is no more, so you have a Switch. They bought it from mobile. Most people are playing that thing mobile, right? My kids, my wife, myself, we're playing it mobile. It's rare that I play it on the TV, but this is for handheld. But they also need to market it that you can play it on the TV. Thing about the Steam Deck, they couldn't do that because it wasn't ready. A year later, then you got the dock that's coming out. You had third party, but I don't buy third party if I can help it, unless the OEM doesn't come out with one. Tech must be really drunk, man, because he laughing. Nobody else knows why he's laughing.
No, because I'm reading the chat here. Some of these guys are just. Yeah, they're goofy. Then we got Rain G4 just sliding through, man.
Always sliding
through. You guys are my Steam Deck guys. Steam Deck handheld experts, man. And I'm trying to keep up with the chat here.
But you game on PC too, though.
No, I don't really.
Yeah, really. But Choo Choo Charles is only on PC.
Okay, Choo Choo Charles is the only game I've played in the last 3 years on PC.
What kind of PC do you have my gaming hardware esque?
Let me look up my
is a laptop.
Just go to search bar and then go to system.
I figured he was the type who built it. He knows
that's what I did.
You don't remember okay, nah, I'll give you a pass right now.
Yeah, I don't remember my stuff, man, but I'm trying to look it up for you here. Let's see.
You're still running 2070, right? Sid?
I got a GeForce GTX 1050 Ti.
That's solid.
I got that. Yeah. Let's see. Where's my CPU, man? My computer. I forgot what I got. An AMD Ryzen 5, I think.
Oh, you got AMD.
Yeah, I went AMD this time. Yeah.
Oh, you won't believe what just became the #1 video card on the Steam thing.
What? AMD.
No,
650,
1650, a 3060. It used to be 1650. Remember, it was a 1060, and it moved to the 1650. Now, for whatever reason, it's the 3060.
Wow, how much is a 3060? 400?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean that's a good price. Because I know that the 30 they were selling 3080s in Best Buy for 800.
Oh God!
Oh, who's drinking, man?
That's me, man. I had a drink with the homie, man. You can't be by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh man. I had one more topic. But I think we'll close it out here because what
was it though?
He's dusted. He's dusted. He needs to go pee.
It's about Jim Ryan, man. About how he's
he's just a whiny baby making things worse every time he opens his mouth, which is better for us. We get more.
We can do a speed round.
Yeah.
Okay. Speed round. Okay. Okay, Jim Ryan, I got this from Cult Bullshit Mafia. I find it extremely funny how much Sony is crying about getting a downgraded COD in the same time span as they release one of the worst PC ports we've seen in recent memory. The lack of self-awareness and hypocrisy we are witnessing here is truly record-breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, talk that shit, homie.
But no, like I agree with Jim Ryan that if people lose faith in Call of Duty on PlayStation, it'll hurt them in more ways that the regulators are acknowledging. And this is what I've always said: it's not about Call of Duty, it's not about Hogwarts. It's about when they come in, they buy other games. And since when do competitors buy or make acquisitions or have mergers to strengthen the competition? It's done to cripple the competition. The regulators are there to make sure that they're not completely stifling competition. So I agree with Jim Ryan, and in the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé, Sony's problem, not my problem.
Well, what does that say about his own studios, though?
He's been taking a dump on his own studios and the rest of the industry throughout this whole process.
And that's why the industry is not having his back.
Yeah, and we know that they don't make shooters. We know that Sony would rather buy some type of exclusivity or GIMP competitive versions than to compete head up. That's not what they do. They don't make JRPGs anymore. They don't make shooters. They just started making somewhat RPGs with Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima. Okay. Yeah, because it was supposed to be a speed round.
So I don't know. It just finds me. It's funny to me. He's taking a dump, like he said, on his studios big time. If they're not aware of this and they don't see it, then they're as bad as Jim. They just suck, right? And that's it. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I mean, he's so confident in his own studios, he wouldn't worry about Call of Duty. But he's crying like a little baby. He's running to everybody possible to stop this merger.
He's not confident, Tech.
And he's not confident with the studios. Yep.
I'm gonna keep this real high level, real quick, right? Like, I look at this, I'm like Dr. Serizawa from Godzilla. Let them fight, right? Because the more this goes on, more receipts, more facts, more details about all the sordid history, right? I've said this many times, but it just keeps coming into play every time he opens his mouth and says some other dumb thing. We learn more things, even if it's unofficially. Like when they're worried about the graded Call of Duty. Like my response to that, I was getting a couple of likes off of that, and folks are like, what I said was, this is what I've been saying. Like I think I said this last week and the week before. Like, why are they worried about the graded Call of Duty? I wonder where they learned to fear that from.
Yeah. Literally their own work. Yeah.
That's what they did. Because when Microsoft had the exclusive, and these ponies love to bring up, Microsoft. When Microsoft had the exclusive, the only thing they had, right, was 1 month exclusivity to the DLC. That's it. There was no performance parity. There was none of that. There was just the game ran as best as they could make it, and both versions were good back then. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It was just the Xbox was running live and all of that. It was just running the paradigm. Of course, it would be better. It wasn't because of the content. Because if the content was like that back then, reverse, where Microsoft got it a month later, even in the 360 era, it wouldn't have affected the overall performance. All of this stuff, that's just one example of many we get every time we hear something new about this. And he's sitting here saying all this stuff, and he's shitting on the rest of the industry, and the industry ain't supporting it. We've already heard anonymously through all of this what they think of what's going on, man. We've just seen the real thing, and I think this is going to change the landscape forevermore, and I'll love to see it.
Yep. So we'll see how it plays out, but supposedly the deal is done by the end of April or whatever date it is, 25th, 24th. And from there, who knows what's going to happen. And like Ren F. Fur here says, he has 10 years to make a competitor. They had competitors. They had Resistance. They had Killzone. They had SOCOM. They had
but Tech, they don't. That's competing, right? Sony doesn't want to compete. They want to be number one. So it's like whenever they can't dominate something, they just step away or try to just buy what is dominating, and that's broken. Xbox just is about to completely break it. They're gonna have to do something else, right? They don't make JRPGs. They don't make shooters, right? That if and a lot there's a big debate on whether Horizon or Ghost or God of War are RPGs. They don't get into the genres that they can't make a significant impact in, right? They don't have strategy games. They don't do anything but the movie games, right? And then you have Spider-Man, which is Spider-Man. They're not gonna want to compete. They never banked on having to compete. They got Deviation over there, but they never banked on Deviation being more important than what they thought they would be.
Yeah,
they need the game from Deviation to be a hit. They don't push their multiplayer games enough. Why didn't they push Destruction All Stars harder? Right? Why did they quit on SOCOM? Why did they quit? Microsoft continued to make Halo. Microsoft continued to make Gears. Right? Despite the competition stepping on them every year.
Despite their own missteps, look at the Master Chief Collection. It became a greater collection than they ever originally planned and promised to make. Because when they first announced it, it wasn't the dream. We were like, cool, that's dope, but it was like, it's not having this, not having that. In the end, after this, the whole kerfuffle with that, we got a bigger, better collection than was ever even promised to us initially. We got all the things that they had left out in a better form, and then they updated it again to be, Series S and X compatible with all that beautifulness. And then came the PCs. It's like they took their lumps and kept going. But Sony, no, they don't want to do any work.
Why? Why? Because they didn't have a choice. And now Sony's going to be put in a position that they don't have a choice but to step up and compete, but to lean on their own IP. Because when they did what they did to Nintendo back in the day, Nintendo couldn't do anything but depend on their own IP. Lean more heavily on the Game Boy. Games like Animal Crossing and Pokemon. That's why they're so popular now on that platform. And that's why I said that they might have the best gameplay when it comes to promoting their own first-party games. Now Microsoft is making it to where everybody can access their first-party games. This is a long-term play for Microsoft through Game Pass, exposing more gamers to their games, building their IP through exposure, because they were making games like Quantum Break that people didn't play. They didn't want to take the risk, the financial risk of buying games, because they supposedly it was only 900p, right? But if it was in Game Pass, you would have played it if it was 420. Right, 440, whatever it is. But now people are going to be playing these first-party games because they're in a service with low risk. And Sony should have seen this coming. This is bad leadership on their part. While everybody wants to take a dump on Phil Spencer and Microsoft's leadership, this is poor leadership on Sony's behalf for console generations, because they built up other people's IP before theirs, and that's a problem. And it's coming, and the chickens are coming home to roost right now, because they got their number one game that they spent millions every year of popularizing, that's about to be snatched away from them in a year.
And so the last thing I'm going to say real quick, it's the same thing the ponies used to say to Xbox, yo, and unlike the disingenuous, messed up way they said it, right? I'm saying it and I actually mean it. Do better, Sony. Actually,
do better, Sony.
Actually work at it like you told Microsoft to do, right? And Xbox to do better. Like, we're telling you all this stuff because you suck ass right now and you need to be better. I don't want PlayStation to die. I don't want it to just be Xbox, right? That's not good for anybody. Nope. Like and the fact that I even have to say this to make it clear cut, right, is ridiculous. But that's what it is. Sony needs to get their head up their ass and fix their problems and get it done. It's that simple. Just like you told my Xbox, it's now Sony's turn.
Yep. They don't want to compete, and now it's time to compete. All right, the realest one on Twitter.
Go take your leak. Like what you guys are not seeing, that my bottom half is dancing around in his chair because I really gotta go.
Go take your leak.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night. Everybody in the chatterbox, you've been great. Jay saying thanks for the 2 super chats.
Yeah, shout out to the chat,
guys, on Twitter. If you want to follow them, it's in the description. I always put it down there if you guys want to follow them. And same for me. I'm on there. And then we'll be here next Thursday. Well, I will be. I don't know about these guys. It's up to them if they want to show up.
As long as I'm alive, I'll be here.
As long as they're available, they'll show up. Other than that, I gotta go pee. I no poo poo for me, but I gotta go pee pee. And you guys have a good night. I'm out, man. Bye.
All right, peace, everybody.